those, under those mounds are the remains of some of the houses.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You'll see as we walk around a little more over this way, you'll see some bricks laying them up. But the houses were here. Yeah, that's in the name. They came over to here and you see some of the bricks that here, from the English brick, which would be, the early 1800s.
So these were townhouses for the workers of the mill?
Yep,
okay.
Those houses with, of course, they planted lilies and stuff because you needed some things. Planted their food and stuff, even though you could get dry goods and things like that.
It's a wall right there.
Yep, see, that's the
Look at that.
the house.
Yeah, we haven't been this way. That's the well?
Palmer house.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's the remains of a well. For years, the Hawkins threw their garbage in these foundations because there was no garbage pickup in Foster.
Oh.
And in the 60s and in the early 70s, they would come down the main road, which is this one here. This is the original road. And this is the original road they would come down and we'd stop and toss the garbage out in the foundations.
Okay. What did you say, this is a store?
This is the company store, yeah.
Cool.
People could get, now see here's the opening there.
Yes.
The people could
cool.
get what they wanted here, dry goods. Only Potter actually ran the store. A lot of these early factories, what they did is they could pay you in script. And then, or if you live in a village like this, it probably paid you some in script and some in company money, which means you'd have to spend it here, which means they recoup it.
Yeah, right.
So if they're paying you like $5 and then you got to spend 4 of it here, well, they just made 3 of it back.
Yeah.
With profit. So
Makes sense.
it was a great idea to do it. Plus it was convenient. The reason it's called Ram Tail is because there's a couple of stories, but the best one I can figure is that when they cut the cloth and napped the cloth, and they'd fall in little curls on the floor like little ram's tails.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
But it became a well-known nickname for mills like this after a while. Yeah, there's the factory will always remain here.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Your favorite place to come, you think?
Yeah, it's my favorite place in the whole world of haunts. The Ramtail Factory.
Why is that? Why do you have to hold such a dear heart to it?
When I first read the story, the charm, the romanticism of this true American ghost story, these people, they have a factory, a little village. The guy gets into an argument and then he hangs himself, the keys to the mill in his pocket, and then he starts haunting the mill until all the villagers flee and stuff like that. I mean, it's really, and then the place is still haunted to this day, even though it's ruins. So it still exists as something. You don't come here and see an airport.
Yeah.
It's still
it's
here.
True to itself.
And just the whole story behind it, in such a large area. It's not a little haunted house. It's actually a large area this guy holds dominion over.
Yeah.
So it became a very perfect American ghost story. And we're now inside of what was the Ramtail Factory.
Very cool.
Which is the wheel pit.
What's that?
The wheel pit. Where the water wheel was.
Oh.
There's some more wall work, see? The sluiceway going out to the river. And this is what the factory looks like.
Oh, you have it. That's cool.
Wow. That was found in belongings. Pele Walker was a mason. They had one Taunton speeder in here. That's a machine, if you ever go in a Slater mill, you'll see it. It's got different weights on it. I found one of the weights to the Taunton speeder here.
They do?
Yeah.
Did you take it with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For like workers who wanted to kindle them. And then there was like 4 or 5 other houses. So it wasn't like really small, but it wasn't big either.
Right.
For Foster, it was the biggest enterprise.
That's what you wrote in the book. Yeah, it's one of the biggest water wheels, right?
Yeah, the biggest enterprise they wanted to partake in Foster, Rhode Island. See, there's the other piece of the. You can look across and see the wall of the dam there. How it ran straight across.
Yeah.
And there's a marker stone there too, but it was the biggest attempt at a William Potter was from Warwick, which already had mills,
right,
half a mile long, but he figured, hey, look, people are going to come out here. They're going to start moving here, just like people move to Warwick from Plymouth, Mass, and stuff. Well, they're going to start coming out here, and I want to be, on top of this game.
Yeah.
The mill burned in 1883. Everybody says. I haven't been able to find an article saying that, but that's the popular consensus. I'm not sure if that's actually true to the letter, but
I think you wrote in your book 1850.
that's when it actually closed, or was sold, and then it was closed for a while.
Oh.
And then people started around 1850. What was his name? Arnold bought it, and then it reopened as an attempt for a few years, and then it just kept going into mortgage,
debt
and more mortgages and all kinds of stuff.
You think it's really because they thought it was cursed? I mean,
yeah, after a while, yeah.
Okay.
Because other mills were doing fine, other mills around here were starting to actually pick up, and this one's dying out. And this made the, at one point, although it was small, it made a lot of clothing for like the poor, for that kind of thing. So it was, and it made some really nice cloth. So it should have been
a good, yeah.
Yeah, but they attributed to the ghost, the Pale Lake Walker.
And where have you seen him?
One night, long time ago, when we first started coming here, it wasn't. It was probably 3 years or 4 years after coming here. I came here, I've been here hundreds of times.
Yeah.
We were standing over the ruins, my friend and I, and we just came as a vigil. Like we were like, oh, let's go there. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna plan an all night or anything. And so we were standing there, one flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, we see this mist, like white glowing thing, and it starts moving about the trees, and it moves around like where the building would have been, and then it moves around again. And I go to my friend, John, did you see that? And he wasn't even near me anymore. I could see the flashlight running up the path. He's screwed, yeah.
Was it like our height level with the trees?
Yeah, it was weird because it was at a height also at some points that looked like it would be like where there was a building inside of a building at some points too.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
And then another night I was here with a few other people, and we were doing an investigation, and pitch black. When at night this place is pitch black. When I say that, I mean like you shine a flashlight, and it's the weirdest thing. It's like shining a flashlight in the water. The light just doesn't disperse. It kind of just
goes straight. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how light should disperse.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Anyway, we were doing standing over the ruins there, and we were doing a investigation. We were really quiet. All of a sudden we hear this creaking noise, and I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
It sounded like the creaking of a lantern moving when people walk.
Wow.
And it would have been a candle lantern because there was no kerosene in them days. And it passes by us, doesn't just completely disappear, but gets louder again as it passes by us again. The two people I were with, they never, ever wanted to come back to anywhere with me and do an investigation. I was so freaked out. Yeah.
Where was that ruin?
This room's right here.
Okay.
And then when we did the one for Rhode Island PBS, we saw the light.
Did you?
And I was on this rock. I totally forgot I was sitting on this big rock. I went to get up with my camera, and I went flying forward because there was no ground.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was like sitting on top of the big rock.
Yeah.
It was so pitch black, and even then we got brand new batteries. They had gotten brand new batteries and everything. Had them fully charged. We checked them out in the parking lot. Come in here, turn it on, and go. Zzz.
Seriously, wow.
Yep. But I had 2 extra ones in my camera, which we had to finish the filming with, and I put them in, and mine worked. We get back out there, and the batteries are fine.
All the batteries were
Yeah,
fine.
and they're like, the professional television cameras.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, how could that happen? They're like, I don't know, but we did charge them. This is a brand new one, all fully charged and ready to go, and none of them are working.
That's strange.
Except my little Sony Canon or whatever it was.
The handy cam.
Yeah, the handy cam. And then we saw the light a couple of times, actually.
Okay.
We've seen it a few times.
What time does it usually happen at?
After dark. Like anytime after dark. It could be like 7:30 if it's winter, 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night.
Okay. So it's not too late usually.
No,
when
it's more like between the hours of when you would have closed the place and when you would have taken check around it before retiring to bed yourself. A guy named Jonathan Buckland. He lived next to the Potters, and he needed money, and the Potters gave him a loan, and he promised to pay back in 6 months, or he put up a chunk of his land as collateral, and he couldn't pay it back. And they took the land and they auctioned it off.
Yeah.
They didn't need it, so they took them for the money. Anyway, I think they gave him a job as night watchman here, and he killed himself in the factory in 1817.
Really?
Yep, 5 years before Pele Walker.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you think you've contacted him as well?
Buckland, Walker, Richard Salisbury.
Who's that?
He was a guy who used to come here to get away from his wife, and because he drank a lot,
Yeah.
and he'd hang out in the old houses.
Yeah.
And he ended up dying in one of the houses.
Oh wow.
Betsy Grayson, who squatted in the houses, used to go get her water down there near the stream where the pool was big. She fell in 1860 and drowned when the bucket, actually the current pulled the bucket and her in the water. And so, yeah, that's what you have here.